Welcome to the LandCo podcast, an analytical behind-the-scenes look into land investing and land ownership, covering marketing conditions, current inventory, and updates on all relevant land ownership issues here in Illinois, mixed in with some timely hunting and fishing reports.
All right, guys, welcome to the LandCo podcast here. This format is the one where we kind of address individual topics. We just finished we wrapped one up on kind of the roundtable discussion where we talk about new listings. Now we're going to talk about an individual topic. I forgot to introduce everyone on the last one, so I won't forget on this one. The usual suspects, Dan Ganaway here, Ryan Pudick, and myself, John O'Reilly. Today we're going to address kind of advice for someone entering the land investment market. So I think the last topic we talked about was advice for people looking for small tracts. Mm-hmm. Which is a little different. This is for people that want to get into land as an investment, sometimes taking money out of their portfolio, stock market, and using a pretty decent sized chunk to get into this market, whether that's at 80, 160, or even up to, thousands. We sell all those. So this would be advice for people just entering that market, because honestly, a lot of our clients are first time guys. Mm-hmm. And they're super intelligent guys. That's how they got there. They can afford this stuff, but they're just unfamiliar with it.
They don't know how the process works.
Exactly. And it's different than a house. It's to be successful in the land and investment world, it's a different game than any other real estate segment. That's fair, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So we just quickly wrote down, we don't go through these in depth. That's kind of what we like about the podcast. We just kind of chat, like winging it comes off whatever's on the top of our mind, which, we do this stuff every day. So it comes pretty natural to us. But so we quick jotted down 3 things that we would say are very important for first comers to understand. The first is that there's a bunch of different ways to invest in land, and you sort of need to define what segment of that you want to fall in. There's flat tillable where you buy it and walk away. We've bought farms for clients that don't even know where they're at.
They buy sight unseen.
Sight unseen, you're doing it just for the return. On the opposite end of the spectrum, people are buying farms to enjoy, knowing that they're a safe asset. Mm-hmm. So there's anything in that spectrum in between. So what I would say is you need to define if you are a purely chasing a return, all the way down to I'm moving this money so I can enjoy the money, which are both great theories. They just once you define those, your approach changes a little bit based on what you've established as your goal.
Mm-hmm. You just got to define your goals on what you're trying to accomplish, for sure.
And it doesn't have to be one end or the other. You can, that's a full sliding scale. Like we have guys that are like, oh, I want to be able to enjoy it on the weekend, but mainly I'm looking for return. Or, you could fall anywhere in that spectrum, but that's where you need to decide. Am I 100% return? Am I 75% focused on return? Half and half? Half and half seems to be common.
Yeah. Like it is.
Especially
a decent return with enjoyment.
Yeah. Like I want to
use it, touch it. I want to, and then be able to have enough of a return on it to maybe pay, the property taxes and, a few improvements every year, things like that.
Which seems to be that and return only are probably the most common right now. And that shuffles year to year. 2006, 2007, I always bring that up because it's weird how it's changed. Totally different then. Even timber tracts that were all 100% timber, which is the very far end of the spectrum. That's a long-term hold, a safe asset. But they're like, I want to shoot a big deer, and I don't care if it has any income. There's not many of those guys anymore.
No.
So I would say define where you are on that scale. Chasing money, enjoyment, and then secondly, long-term or short-term.
Right.
And that changes your approach in that if you're long-term, just find a good property that you like and be happy with it.
It's never going to be perfect, though.
Yeah.
You just have to kind of come to terms with that.
You can chat about that when we get to the next point, but that is 100% true. At that point, it's like, it's going to be hard to find exactly what you want. But we'll chat about that in a minute. No, that's cool. So, yeah, I would just say define that, and then long-term, short-term, because if it's short-term, then you're out looking for undervalued properties. You're looking for stuff that you could improve. You're looking for things that, for whatever reason, you can manipulate and resell quickly, which happens. We do, a lot of our clients are like that.
Mm-hmm.
It just, what you search for changes a little bit.
Yeah.
And on the other flip side, if you're looking long-term, just find something that fits what you want. You're going to be, usually those guys are more geared toward enjoyment. So just find what you want. And at that point, on the short term, entry price is a big deal. That's where you make your money, because you're making it on entry price plus whatever you put into it, and then you're going to sell it. So if you can't get it at a good price, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
But on the long term, I hate when people bicker nickels and dimes over properties that's a long-term asset that they're going to enjoy for 20 years. And a lot of times their goal is to keep it in the family forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're going to walk away from something for that, for long-term, just for a few bucks when it's a good property for you. So I know it's easy for me to say it's not my money, but I buy stuff. I paid a premium for this place. Wouldn't you say that?
Yes.
So, but this isn't a farm that I was going to flip. This is like our family farm.
Family farm.
If you like it, entry price.
It fit your goals. It was what you were looking for. You know,
yeah, it was what our family was looking for.
Yeah.
Blair likes it.
The kids, it's great.
Yep. So entry price, not as big a deal on long-term holds. So that's how it kind of is different on once you define your approach. So, but the next one is, it's not like the next point is, it's not like the residential market where it's flooded with stuff. Inventory sucks right now. So like you said, you have to define what you want and put those in order. We talked about that on the last one. But prioritize what you want. But you have to understand that you need to be a little flexible to get what you want, because the piece we sold to Derek, it was very rare. He has elite level deer hunting, fishing, and waterfowl on a 90-acre piece.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if another one around.
That's the only one that in the last couple of years that I could say that about. I looked for one like that forever, and we do this every day, and I couldn't find it. So I had to settle, and I bought this, which has elite waterfowl fishing, no deer hunting. Really?
Yeah, not really.
Not really. So put your stuff in order and just realize you're going to have to be flexible.
It's the same as when you talk to anybody buying a house for the first time. Even you set your priorities of what you have to have, your minimums, and then you make your wish list. And you have to draw that line somewhere and say, this property fits the first 4 things I said I really wanted. I wish I had this, but I can deal with this. I can live with this.
Correct. Yes.
Same exact thing. That's a good
exact thing to buying a house.
And so take that one step further. When one hits the market that has most of those things,
you better go after it.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
So if it's priced right, like the one of them we just chatted about on the roundtable was that Pear Tree Farm, which is a beautiful farm, cool views, cool everything. It's just overpriced. But so that one may not go as fast, but if you see one that's priced right, like if you're working with a broker and it's like, yeah, man, this is in line, buy it.
Yeah.
You got to be ready.
You got to be ready. And on the investment side, on the short term, those guys are fast. So if you're competing with a short-term buyer and for you it's a long-term goal, our good investors, how long does it take them to make an offer?
Well,
a couple hours, couple minutes.
It's a spreadsheet, and they get done filling it out and say it works.
Yep.
They look at an ROI
Go for it.
and say, okay, it works, let's go.
Yeah. So patience in some scenarios pays off, and like residential stuff, which we know nothing about. Commercial, I think it does. And I think it does to a certain extent in like the investment short-term flipping of land, but they're so fast, but I don't think it pays off on the long-term guys, because like Derek's piece or even this, good pieces are so rare. So on the flip side, if it meets your checklist, buy it. It's safe.
Or at least attempt to buy it, because
where you're comfortable at.
Mm-hmm.
And this happens too. A couple of years down the road, if it's not perfect, you sell it. I mean, it's a safe asset. you may sell it for what you bought it for and be out a few bucks, a commission bucks or something, but it's not. It's a very
safe investment.
It's very safe, risk-free, and if it's not a perfect farm, you flip it. And usually, land
it may not be perfect for you, but I guarantee it's perfect for someone. Somebody will come and buy it.
And resale, and that's where it helps to be working with a good broker, because we always think resale, even if they're like, nope, I'm going to own this for 20 years. And it's like, well, maybe. Yeah. But things change.
Yeah.
Things change. And you call me in 2 years and say, well, you know what?
This happened and our lives have changed. Now for whatever reason, I think it's time for us to sell it.
And it could be we love it and we want more. So we need to sell this to buy something else. So then what we told them 2 years ago matters.
Yeah.
And because we're on the line too. So if they call us and say we want to sell it and we can't get what they paid for it or a little more, I feel like we're not doing our job and we didn't kind of properly align that client. So we always think that stuff. We always think of resale, even if it's not your primary goal, short term. So that's a good segue to the last point. And last point is you have a few ways to work with brokers. And there's probably more of the first that just kind of call. So the first one would be someone that just calls the listing agent. It doesn't matter who it is. They're just going to call them. And, if it's Wagner, they're going to go look with Wagner. If it's Ryan, they're going to go look with Ryan. And there's nothing wrong with that. But here's the flip side is you pick one that you're comfortable with. Hopefully us, because this is what we do. That's why we do this stuff, to help everybody out. But if it's not us, pick someone that you trust. And because here's the difference. A lot of this stuff, how much do you think of what we sell makes it to the website?
Just
half?
I was going to say 50 to 60%.
Yeah. So, and those are clients that are working directly with us.
Yeah.
Or they don't find out about them. So the beauty there is they're committed a little bit more to you when they know you're committed to them. And it's just the nature of the beast. Like, you hope you can be committed to everybody, but Dan, if you have a client that's looking at farms with you and then you find out they looked at one with, Whitetail Properties, your commitment to them just goes down a little. It's just,
I want to say no, but truth is, I might focus a little more energy on somebody that I know is working
directly with you.
That has the same commitment back to you. And it's not that you wouldn't have the other interest of that person in mind.
No.
But if you have two people looking for the same thing and one of them calls you on everything they see and is committed to you, like, you're going to call that guy first.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely,
just know that. Sometimes, I guess the flip side is if you're working with one, you may be able to squeeze a few bucks out when it comes down to commission and you're close to buying a property.
Yeah.
But that's the only advantage, I think, of doing that.
As you list a property, when I list a property, there's that short list of people that I have that instantly, when I first go look at it to talk about it, I'm like, this person would be perfect.
This would be a good fit for this guy.
If we can get this to work, this person has to come see this property. It's before we even have talked about contracts or anything to get it going.
Yeah, we're not a huge contract company, and that's why it happens so fast with a lot of the stuff we do. Is because, like you said,
we'll get a phone call that says, John Smith wants to sell this farm. So we go out there and we look at it. And it's like, holy cow, there's 3 guys we know in the back of our mind right now that may jump at this. Guess what? We make a phone call. It gets under contract so quickly that it never makes it to the open market.
Yep. So we never take pictures, we never video. Right. So we've talked about this. It's a double-edged sword. It's weird. You can't walk away from a deal. It's what we do. We're in business to sell property, and when we have a chance to sell a property, we do it. But sometimes we go months without adding a new listing. Doesn't mean we're not selling anything.
Right.
It's just not
making it to the website.
It's never made it to the open market.
Yeah. And then I'm like, I'm going to put it on the website and mark it as sold so people see that we sold it. But I'm like,
I don't care.
I don't want to play that game. No.
Roll through and they've got 36 listed properties and
all sold. And
32 of them are.
You're just announcing it sold. Thanks. I was actually looking for a property like that, but it's not even for sale. It's gone. So
now you're just wasting my time because I called you, got my hopes up, blah blah blah. So it's like, why do that?
Why do it? Yeah. So That's the last one. You can do either. We like working with a broker because I think it opens you up to more opportunities because they've got their ear to the ground. Good ones. And you got it.
We do this every day to where we know, and we can take it even a step further because we also know what might be coming down the pipeline in say 6 months. This guy's maybe looking for an 80 acre piece, and we haven't quite found him the right piece. But guess what? We know this piece coming up. They're just not ready to sell yet, but 6 months and a year from now they are. And so just hold.
Yeah,
hold
if you
tight.
can be patient,
we can be patient.
And we're good about. A lot of other brokers don't ever like to let the sellers and the possible buyers talk. And
Correct.
I don't know. We don't play that game either. So sometimes we'll just literally meet them. I know you don't want to sell yet, but when you do, I think this guy's a good fit. Don't cut me out because I'm introducing you guys, and we just trust people. And we've only gotten.
It's happened, but
we've been screwed a few times, but not
much.
A contractor wouldn't change that with those people.
No.
So we do that all the time and introduce them, and so hey, in a year they call them and we sell it.
And that also makes the transaction, if and when it does happen, so much more smooth.
It does.
With when those two get together.
Yeah, they already have a rapport.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a vlog out. This was, man, I'm losing track of all these. I think it was one of the earlier ones, 4 or 5, when I talked about how to choose a broker.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to choose that second path to have somebody literally committed to you, watch that. It's got some good info on it. What are we missing? Anything else to chat about in this one? I'm sure there's a lot to cover, but we try to keep this format a little quicker, 10, 15 minutes. So we might even do the same exact topic again in a year and talk about 3 or 4 different things. But just want to throw some information out to people getting into it just to kind of let you know how it goes. But we appreciate you guys listening. I also forgot to plug all of our social media stuff the last time. Dan made me well aware of that. So
subscribe,
YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, this podcast. I really want to get this thing going. So hop on that, subscribe, review. Dan does a bunch of stuff with Presley's. You can pick that up.
Yeah. You can check that all out on YouTube and Facebook for Presley's and Spec Warehouse, and we're on Instagram and all those things. Same with Land Company, and a lot of cool photos, a lot of cool gear and deals with Presley's. So make sure you check that stuff out too.
Yep, we also have a land division with Ryan. I just bought a GoPro to have him start getting some footage. So hopefully I have some of that stuff coming up shortly. But we do that too. Anything. We do this stuff so people, to try to bring real value to people either owning land or looking to buy land. So looking to do anything in farm, whether it's improving it, selling it, buying something, or even just advice on hunting, going into Presley's store, buying some stuff for your farm. We hope you start with us. If it's something that we can't do or can't do well, we'll align you with
the people.
We know the people. That's kind of our goal here at LandCo, is to become that hub. People come to us. And if we can't do it, we disperse. If we can do it, we'll take care of you and do it well.
Yeah.
That's our quick plugs. We appreciate listening, and we will hopefully be coming back with another kind of format like this in a few weeks. And thanks for listening. Catch you next time.